Good morning. Good morning to all the beautiful souls that are watching this. I hope everyone's doing all right. I'm out for my morning walk, just listening to the birds again. It's a bit chilly though, so I gotta stay dressed appropriately, man. I'm not gonna get caught lacking in this cold, man. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold, and I already got sick earlier, so I'm not gonna get sick again if I could prevent it. But I'm still going out for walks. That being said, though, I wanted to talk about, the idea of, feeling your emotions, releasing your emotions, right? I was watching a video, and it was this dude who does yoga, and he was talking about how, you know, all of your basically like bodily functions is a sign of release, like crying, passing gas, using the restroom, sighing, or yawning. All that is releasing, right? You're releasing, what's in your body. And I think it's really important to feel your emotions, to release them. If you're angry, to feel angry, to express it appropriately. If you're sad, cry. If you're sad, cry. Just let it out. Let it out, because there's no point in holding it in within your vessel, right? If you hold it in, then it's just gonna become a weight, and you don't want to hold the weight in within you. You don't want to hold that weight. I'm not gonna hold that weight, man. I'm gonna cry if I feel like crying. I've most of my life, growing up, I was told that, expressing emotions or showing your emotions is a sign of weakness, right? And that is absolutely not true. I know wholeheartedly was that idea was used as a means of trying to control people, to make them more easy to, just follow orders, essentially, right? If they don't feel like they can express their emotions, they're more willing to go with, whatever it is that they're being told, right? But that's not true. Like, you don't want that. You don't want to hold your emotions. You want to be able to cry when you're sad, or you want to be able to be happy, right? Be able to express joy, or to not hold on to anger, and to be able to express it, right? In a way that's obviously healthy, because there is both an unhealthy way and a healthy way to express anger, right? I digress. The idea of releasing your emotions, right? Releasing, what you're holding on to, right? I think that can be applied to, other stuff as well, like people who hold on to trauma, right? Myself, right? I'm speaking from my own experience. People who like hold on to trauma, right? That's not to say that you can't like feel, the pain that is associated, right? Feel your emotions, right? But at the same time, you got to release that. It's a weight at the end of the day. It's pain is inevitable, right? But suffering is a choice, right? I was talking about this the other day. Letting go, releasing, that pain, right? And not letting it define you in the way that it has, redefining it, right? In terms of trauma, right? Maybe you hold on to shame or guilt from something that you've done or something that's happened to you, right? And you feel shame and guilt about it. You don't want to hold on to shame. Shame doesn't help you, right? You don't want to shame yourself, and you wouldn't want others to shame others, would you? Right? So why would you hold on to shame against yourself, right? I think the idea of shaming people for expressing themselves or for feeling a certain way is not cool, right? And so why would you want to do that to yourself? Don't shame yourself. Let go of the shame and guilt that you feel, right? Maybe you've done something, right, and in your head it's like unredeemable, Okay, sure, but you got to redefine that, because holding on to that guilt is not going to serve you any purpose. You want to be able to redefine it and repurpose that energy into something that can help you or can help others, right? You know, I felt guilty, right? I've said a lot of stuff, you know, out of anger. I regret some stuff that I've done, but I don't want to hold on to that guilt, because it doesn't help me. Instead, I want to be I learned from it. I'm learning from my mistakes so that they never happen again, right? So I can be a better version than who I was yesterday. Be someone who doesn't act out of anger, doesn't hold on to guilt and shame. Being able to release those things from you, those emotions, it'll serve you better in the long run. And I think it's important that, you know, whoever you are, you learn to properly not only manage your emotions, but also properly release them, right? You know, a habit that I partake in, right, is writing, right? Journaling. You know, I journal throughout the day, usually once or twice a day, just how I'm feeling. You know, I talk about what's going on, whether it's good or bad, just so that it's not all cooped up in my head, right? Because I have a tendency, you know, I'm only speaking for myself here, right? Maybe this also applies to you, but I have a tendency to, you know, get so caught up in the spirals that are in my head, you know, the ongoing cycles, right? On and on and on. I just get so cooped up, you know. I just be laying in bed just thinking about what it is that, you know, I'm going through. And, you know, it would just perpetuate continuously, right? And it would lead to needless pain, right? And so I would write it down. I'll write down what's going on, you know, good and bad. And that way it wouldn't be so cooped up in my head as much, because I'm releasing that feeling or those emotions onto paper, right? And now it's not in my head anymore, and usually I feel better, right? So yeah, the idea of releasing your emotions, right? You don't want to hold on to them, because like I was saying earlier, it just becomes a weight, you know. Holding on to your sadness, right? Maybe you're like me. You know, you were told that, you know, crying is a sign of weakness. Oh, you shouldn't cry, right? And so instead of crying, you just bottle it up. And guess what happens? It weighs on you continuously. You continue to do that in situations where normally you would, you know, express sadness. Instead, you just don't express sadness, and you feel sad, and like you just hold on to it, right? Keep it close to your heart. But then you know what happens? Whether, you know, you bottle it up so much that it turns into anger and it explodes, or, you know, you find yourself in a moment alone, and you just release all those emotions at once, all those emotions that you've been holding on to, right? At the end of the day, that's still releasing it. But you want to release it as it happens, so that way it doesn't go all at once, right? I know there were multiple times in my life where I couldn't understand why I was acting that way or acting a certain way. Now, in thinking about, in reflection, you know, a lot of my behaviors, like maybe in childhood and during puberty, I've acted in a way to, as such, like I was holding on to so many emotions that it would all just explode. And I realized that in hindsight, you know, how bad that is, because, you know, it would lead to, you know, either awkward situations, or it would lead to even more pain than it was originally. And it sucked, right? But if I had learned, you know, proper emotional management, and I would just learn to release these emotions as they happen, then it wouldn't lead to anything more than what it already was. Yeah. Releasing your emotions, releasing the weight that you're holding on to. You know, we're entering a new year, or not new year, a new season. Well, I guess if you want to get technical, some people consider the spring the new year. So I guess I'm still technically right if you wanna get technical. But yeah, we're entering a new season. You don't want to go into this new season with all the weight that you were holding on to. I see a dog. Sorry. Yeah, you wanna be able to go into this new season as your best self, as your authentic self. And that means letting go. That means letting go, releasing what you're holding on to, and breathing. Being your authentic self, man, it's beautiful. You know, I enjoy being able to come out on these walks and know that a lot of the work that I've been doing is taking effect. You know, I've heard this butterfly metaphor before, and I think it's applicable to me. You know, I was in this period of rest, you know, just morphing and going from my old frequency to this new frequency, and now, you know, I'm stepping into life basically for the first time again, because I'm in this new version of myself, new version who's full of love and who doesn't want to express anger in an unhealthy way, or sadness, or holding on to sadness in an unhealthy way, right? And I want to share that with everyone as well. You know, you are allowed to release your emotions. Let me say that again. You are allowed to feel and release your emotions. It is okay. It is okay. You want to live in this world not feeling like you aren't allowed to be human, because feeling and releasing your emotions is by definition human. Being able to express these emotions, it makes us humans. It shows that we are humans. And it's beautiful. The human experience can be very beautiful. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up around here. If you're seeing this, I love you. I hope you're having an amazing rest of your day. Make sure to take care of yourself and take care of those around you, because no one else is going to take care of you except you. And always remember, it's okay to feel. That's what makes us human. Have a good one.